Oh, geez. First of all, can I just say that I forgot to thank Rae, and then I was leaving the stage, and I was like,
Ray's gonna get enough credit.
I told them as soon as they got here, I was like, I forgot to thank you. But no, I just, yeah, obvious. I mean, it's obvious how much they are a part. Yeah, they are the film. So, anyways, thank you, Rae. Thank you.
We get it. The film's about Rae. Let's talk about you.
Sundance. Yeah, I think one of the more memorable moments was like Rae and I were just like, there was like this Sundance sponsored concert, and then like Flea was like part of a jazz trio with like Glenn Close reading beat poetry, and then Rae played a set in between them and the Fela Kuti band, and so we were like watching the Fela Kuti band, and Rae was like standing beside me. And the Fela Kuti band is like amazing, and they just come off playing their set, and then we're just like, kind of like swing your hips.
Which is hard for Rae.
Yeah, both of us. And then we just like looked at each other like, what in the hell? How did we get here? We were like very young when we first met. We were like, you know, early 20s. So we never thought that we would sort of get to that place and carve out a space at Sundance, and I think we did. So that was really cool.
Any questions? Yes, please. Yeah, just like Donahue.
Thank you. Great movie. Thanks a lot for making it. The first scene is a really. It's quite surreal. And so my question is, where was that shot? And were the customers of the restaurant in on it? Did you inform them what was going on? They seem a sort of a cross between bemused, ignorant, and just confused.
That was the Blackfoot truck stop in Calgary. So actually that's right by Lea Marin's studio. So I eat there when I make my albums. So I'm always in there eating, so I know like the staff. But basically you just put signs up and warn people. But I think it was kind of like, we're filming, do you still want to eat breakfast? And they're like, yeah. Just like going past like, a lot of them are just like, yeah, but no, they weren't like, they're just like there yet. So, but yeah, so it's basically in the middle of Calgary. I don't know if you've been there, but.
Was there any applause?
There was no applause. We did 3 rounds, and I felt, yeah, it was okay. It was a medium audience.
Another question? Well, Rae, while you've got the microphone, you are extremely open and inviting to people when you play your live shows. Do you feel like with the film, because it's so vulnerable, do you feel like there's a difference in the way people approach you, or are different people approaching you now to talk about it?
Yeah, I think the film and also the book I published a couple years ago, like which is like written for the film, kind of. I definitely opened up a lot about my past. Like before that, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm trans. My parents are Christians, and that would be like the end of the talk. So yeah, lately it's been a lot more open. So actually, I really like. I think the process of making the film helped me like shed a lot of shame about my background. So yeah, I don't know, definitely.
Anything? Yes, please.
The scene with the explosives and stuff. I was just wondering about the scene with the explosives and what that was supposed to mean. And
Rae loves fireworks.
Yeah, that was a bit of a, yeah, I had to really, fight for that shot. But my editor and I, Avra, really strongly felt like it was, that scene was about grief and sort of the catharsis of coming through grief, so that was for us. Sorry, this is a constant problem. So that scene was about grief and coming through grief, and so we strongly felt like we needed some sort of catharsis at the end to bring us into the next scene. So I felt like that was it, and like it's awkward and it's funny and it's I don't know. I think I felt that when you are dealing with grief, it's really complex, and so something that's sort of, and you don't always expect the emotions that come with that. So that's what that signified to me.
And I'm sure that anybody that has seen Rae perform or seen anything that they've done can tell that they're special and wonderful. Chelsea is an amazing filmmaker. Look up her other stuff. But Lea, was there people that you had to sell on these two? Like, come walking into the NFB and are like, hey, you should give us money, make a film. People are going to want to see it.
There were a few people, I won't lie. I mean, I have to say that Sylvester Agent, who is our executive producer, who's still in the audience, actually was a champion of this film from the outset. So I think.
Thank you from everybody in the world that gets to see this.
It's in Toronto. We got it. I mean, I think that I shouldn't. You know, it wasn't something that I think. You know, it took some time. Let's just put it that. It took some time. Okay, got it.
When did you start working on the film?
Sorry, I was just going to say my pitch to Lea, which was, I want to make this documentary about this trans musician named Rae Spoon who's from Alberta. It's going to be a documentary musical, and there's going to be dinosaurs. And Lea was like, tell me more. Thank God.
Any other questions at this time? Well, I feel like the pace of the film is pretty unique in the way it was shot, the way it's edited. Was that something that was your style, or is that like you suddenly went to the prairies and was like, whoa, I'm not going to rush this. We're gonna have. I'm not going anywhere.
I'm going to take my time.
I'm not going to race through this film. So was that like part of it?
Yeah, definitely. Like the landscape influenced the pacing of the film, and also Rae's music. Like we had the album. Rae made the album for the film, and that was actually the first component. And then I adapted the film around the album. So that was like, honestly, sometimes we'd be like shooting the van door open, like across the prairies.
Don't tell the insurance people.
Listening to the album, so we could sort of get a sense of the pacing. So yeah, it was all very much constructed, and then also in the editing, we sort of. But I don't think it's a real departure from my other work. I try to work a lot with landscape and have that sort of influences your sort of psychological state. So that was always there.
So like you mentioned, there is the soundtrack to the film available, also called My Prairie Home, and the book of short stories that it all kind of came together. But Rae, what's next on your list of things?
And I have another book coming out in April with Ivan Coyote. I said it's a tell-all on gender accidentally, but it's not actually. It's called Gender Failure. It's about my adventure through the gender binary and the making my way through the LGBTQ letters. So, and Ivan has, yeah. So that's coming out in April, and I don't know. I'll probably write some more music.
More tours. Hopefully.
Going to Europe for tour and stuff.
Any more questions?
Oh.
Yes, one in the back there.
How long did the film take from pre-production to festival? Like, what was the timeline?
So how long did the film take from pre-production to festival circuit, where you are now?
I mean, I had sort of been working on it on my own for about a year before I brought it to Lea, and then from when we started out, was it?
Microphone.
I think it was 4 years when we actually started discussing and developing, but from actual pre-production to now, we started pre-production in June of 2012.
So we got time for one more question. Oh, there's a very enthusiastic hand up there. There's a microphone for you. Look at this place.
Hi. Hi again, Rae. I was so knocked out by the filmmaking, and of course, Rae. It's incredible. And I don't know if you can tip your hand or not, but are other people going to get to see it? Does it get a deal at Sundance? Is it going to be on HBO? Like, where can we point people more broadly to see this? It's so great. Thank you.
So it is available on iTunes Canada now. It's also available on NFB.ca, so you can purchase it or download it. In terms of Sundance and international, it's still not done its festival circuit. It's still doing European and US festival circuit. And we are still hopeful. So there are discussions that came up at Sundance in terms of US distributors that are interested. It's still in the works, nothing's been done yet, but it ain't over yet. We're still going with the festival.
And on that note, one more round of applause for everybody, please.